Sudden arguments come in your relationship because you just tapped into your past unresolved feelings. This is why it's happening, most of the time. But what are we supposed to do when this happens? How do we even know when it's happening? And is this even important for me to know? These are all questions we're about to dive in and answer. Before we continue, this is a quick reminder that you will find my Patreon down in the description below, where you can join as a free member and access my community chat, get notifications on videos, and hang out with me. So let's dive in. These are the key points that we need to know before we get into the details. Point number 1. When we are upset, about 90% of the time, the upset is related to our past and has nothing to do with what we think is happening to us. Point number 2. Love makes us feel safe enough to open up and become aware of our feelings. Love opens us up and we start to feel our pain. Point number 3. At these positive times, couples may unexplainably fight when it seems as though they should be happy. Point number 4. In the beginning of a relationship, we may not be as sensitive. It takes time for us to open up and our past feelings to come back up. Point number 5. Resentment can accumulate in your relationship without the proper control, communication, and knowledge. And this can make a huge hole in a relationship. This hole is only repairable when we have the right tools to fix it, like knowledge and steps, like course of action. So now let's go ahead and get into the details on all these points. The first principle is the 90-10 principle, which is 90% of the upset is actually coming from unresolved feelings of the past, and 10% of the upset is due to the current circumstances. These unresolved feelings could be from childhood, such as parent relationships, or from previous relationships. Because of our unresolved feelings, we may interpret our partner's actions or words as criticism, judgments, blame, or even rejection. We can look at it in this way. If our partner gently pokes us in the arm, it's not really going to hurt much, but if we had an open wound and we get the same gentle poke, then it's certainly going to cause more pain and more suffering from the exact same poke. This is what is occurring during the 90-10 principle. And now that we're aware of it, now we know, okay, 90% is coming from upset and past. Now we can take the necessary steps to remove our frustration, pain, and anger in our relationships. So what do we need to know in order to support each other? We know from my other videos that men go to their caves when they're upset, and this is when they are most sensitive and they need acceptance. And we know that women, when they're upset, they need to be understood, but they will need tender, loving care because their self-esteem starts to go down. Becoming aware of this alone will help you control your emotions, your reactions, and will prevent you from immediately being sparked by the first thought and feeling that you have. Here is what we're going to do once we see that we may be dealing with some unresolved feelings from the past, from our partner, or from ourselves. Do write out your feelings before confronting your partner. This could be on paper, like a journal or a log, or it could be like digitally, like on a text message or on your notes app. Like I'm sure we've all had a text message. We wrote it all our feelings, but we didn't send it. Do give them time to cool off and become centered again before engaging in a discussion about the feelings or about the problem that you guys had. This is one of the hardest ones because it requires a lot of self-control. You may need to say something along the lines of, I love you, but I'm not in the right mindset right now to talk about this. Or, I understand that you're upset about XYZ. I love you, but how about we talk about it in an hour when we're both more calm and ready to talk about it. I'm sure this is probably going to be one of the hardest things you're going to do. Do understand that these things will happen. Repressed feelings will come up, and we need to just be aware that this is happening or about to happen. Do encourage them to also write down their own feelings, and in the same way, whether it's by log or digitally or whatnot. Writing out your feelings for yourself and telling your partner to also do the same, or maybe just telling your partner that this is what you did, will also get them to think maybe I should do the same thing. Now that we're focused on what we should be doing, I'm going to put your attention on what you should not do. Don't say that they are overreacting. Don't listen to them when you're unable to. Don't do it. Those are one of the two major things that we should not be doing. So what about the resentment that has built up within our relationships? Resentment can build up in your relationship when the needs of a partner is not being met. This can come in many forms, such as emotionally, physically, or intellectually. An example, right? You want to go out somewhere with your partner and they have not felt like it or brushed it off for the past few weeks, right? Then randomly, they offer to go to that place that you were suggesting. And this is when the resentment is going to come up. It's going to come up all at once because you've been offering to go to this place, you wanted to go to this place, and so many times you've been rejected or told no, or they just brushed it off. So now this resentment comes out. Now you're angry that they're even suggesting to go to this place because you've been wanting to go there for so long and they have just been not going. So when these feelings come up, the solution here is to share those feelings. Writing is a tremendous help for this. Journaling, it only takes a few minutes just to write a few sentences, right? And just write as much as you like about how you'll feel, and you'll start to see the difference very quickly. We've gone over what causes sudden arguments in the relationship and how when we're upset about something, 90% of the time, it is about the unresolved feelings from the past. And we understood the steps we could take to avoiding these arguments and to actually heal ourselves and our unresolved feelings by listening and understanding. We also talked about the major things that we should do and the major things that we should not do. With these takeaways, I'm praying for more love and happiness in your life and your relationship. Click the like button below if you received this knowledge, and let me know in the comments below what is something that you feel that is above average in your relationship and something that you feel like is below average or something you want to work on. I want to know what's working for you and what's not, and I can better tailor my videos for your experiences and some knowledge. I want you to stay updated with me. Just hit the link down in the description below to go to my Patreon, and I'll see you in my next video.